Hello, guys. Welcome. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with Yanzi Lynn, and we are talking about the news, the big word on the street in crowdfunding comics. And this would be Eric July's Isom #2. Now, Isom #1 obviously came out last year, broke some records. I think maybe the record, and raised over $3.7 million on a comic, a graphic novel. Now, a lot of people, there's a whole sea of videos out there. I've been on stream with Eric before, a nice guy, a great YouTuber. Obviously, he has an audience, and that this is undeniable at this point in time with the success of Isom 2. But still, some people seethe and hate on Eric, calling it a grift, calling it not a real comic. You didn't go get validated through mainstream publishers such as Dark Horse, Marvel, DC, Image, even, whatever. The guy has an idea. The guy has a vision. The guy has a character. He has a universe, the Rippaverse. You guys can go check him out. We'll have a link to the campaign right below and his YouTube channel. But today is a day of celebration because right now, a little over 12 hours into this campaign, we are looking at a whopping, where are we at now?
Over $800,000 basically. And I think we can totally call it and say in the first 24 hours, it's going to be $1 million campaign.
I'm just pointing there. $1 million. That's where the ball's going. There's a lot of success in independent comics happening on YouTube, happening in this social sphere. There's also a lot of hate happening for independent comics on Twitter at the same time. And that's Comicsbrokeme trending hashtag, a thing. More people are coming out with that. More people are coming out with stories about not making fortunes lost, careers never made, and making what would be independent comics. Now, obviously, here is Eric July making an independent comic and making it work, talking about fan service, driving up hype for these books before they even launch. And whether you love or hate Isom, you have to, at this point, admit the man is doing something right. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today.
So for people who do not know, we actually did a video talking about the Comicsbrokeme hashtag. It basically started because somebody in the industry passed away, and they're blaming it on the fact that, well, it's because his books didn't sell, people didn't buy enough of his books, he didn't get enough doors open for him. Basically, blaming their lack of success on everybody and anybody except themselves, I guess, because apparently people forgot that comic books are a commodity. People actually have to exchange money to get it. And how do you convince people to exchange money for your product? Well, obviously, it must be a good and interesting product that people want to exchange money for, which clearly Eric July doesn't have any problems with. People are willing to give him money for his book. So it is very interesting to see the Comicsbrokeme hashtag. Like, for example, here, David Lasky here saying, 10 years ago, my graphic novel won the Eisner Award. Why have I not created a follow-up book? Well, after finishing our book, my co-author and I were broke. I went back to work for a bakery. My co-author was homeless for a while. Our graphic novel didn't make us royalties. So if you go and look at this hashtag on Twitter, or across social media actually, this hashtag has thousands and thousands of similar sob stories where creators are paid really just very poor rates for their work. And basically discovering that the dreams of being a comic creator are not as easy to achieve as one would think. Now, all that though, it just looks very odd, especially coming right on the heels of the Isom 2 campaign. Isom 2 straight away proves that when, you have people saying, I can't make enough money, I have to go homeless. And then you have here, Eric July opening up warehouses, hiring dozens of employees, and giving his local postal service, tens of thousands of dollars every single month. It's like, this really proves that it's a case of not comics broke me, but more like I broke comics. Like, I couldn't make the right comics to help make my future bright. So it wasn't comics that failed me. It was I failed comics in a way. And these people don't want no one to acknowledge that.
Right. Comics is this weird thing also. You're going to put all your heart and your feelings in there. But at the end of the day, you also putting on the cover a price tag. People are having to pay admission for your comic. And you can't afford to do a comic. It's a lot of work. You can't afford to do a comic unless somebody's paying a price. This industry thrives on reinvesting profits from books and units sold. and so on and so forth. The state of comics is, and a lot of the comics broke me hashtag, is a lot of people in the American comic book industry that really couldn't afford to do more independent comics because, again, there's less money in comics, period, because Marvel and DC are selling less and less. And this is a self-fulfilling prophecy that that market will dry up. A lot of people assumed that this was going to be a big career jumper for them in comics. But the idea, and this is something I really like about Eric, is he refers to this as an old arcane model, something that doesn't really actually work today. It barely works for Marvel and DC. And if you're downstream of them and you expect it to work for you, well, that's kind of on you. It's barely working for the big two. And the big two are also propped up by these legacy characters and, these tentpole summer films. You can't expect it to work for every independent comic. Now, there is this thing called the internet. There is this thing called build your own platform. There is this thing in networking and stuff and trying to sell your books that way. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hand selling, a lot of Gemini mailers, a lot of signing books. But it might be the hardest you've ever worked, but you're going to be the most successful. And today with Isom 2, I think a lot of people in the crowdfunding sphere, this is a big shot in the arm that these things are possible, that big success. I really do have to point out really quick that I do have a variant cover on Eric's campaign that you should go check out. It is a foil cover limited to 5,000 copies. So if you want one and they're still up, please go over there, check this out. I assume by the time you're seeing this video that this campaign is probably around the 1 million mark or 900,000 mark or something like that. So guys, let's celebrate this campaign for one day. Even if you've bought it or even if you don't have the money to buy it, please tweet this out. I'm sure Eric would appreciate it, and hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I would appreciate that. And also consider signing up for our new campaign on Indiegogo or 9livescomics.com. Axcend Level Up. If you go sign up, you will get a trading card with purchase. Plus, you will get access to secret discount tiers that only people that sign up have. Go check out my new superhero comic, and I will leave you guys with a trailer for Axcend Level Up.